Okay, so we're going to look at the equation of a circle. And equation of a circles are usually actually written r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. So there's a couple of variables in here. The x and y are essentially referring to your x and y axis, so coordinates along there, all the multiple options within a circle. So if there's, if this is a circle, let's say this is -5, this is +5, x involves all these values along here that could be x's, and y refers to all the values along here that are y's. But what is r? What the heck does the r stand for? R stands for actually the radius of the circle. Okay, now I know I didn't draw this very well, but the radius of the circle is from the center of the circle. I know that green spot doesn't quite look like the center, to the outside. So, a lot of times they'll give you questions. They may give you a point on a circle where you need to find the radius of a circle, which is something we can do. You might be given the radius and have to find the equation. So let's go through a couple examples. Let's say someone says, the radius is equal to 8 of a circle. And the circle center is at, they call it the origin. That's right. It's also known as 0, 0 on the Cartesian plane. Okay, so should I call this? Nope. Let's do this. There we go. So let's put that information over here. We are going to calculate this. So if our equation is r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, the way something doesn't have to be on the origin, or if it's not on the origin, I'm going to erase this actually. The equation of a circle can technically be written like this. X minus, let's say, h, you can give it any variable, plus y minus, let's say, k. Okay. The h and the k would deal with vertical and horizontal displacement. So horizontal would be the h. So in other words, if we're on our Cartesian plane and it's moving left and right, I'll put it in green actually. If it's moving left and right, that means the h value would be something. So if it's like +5, it's usually actually would be considered, it'd look like x minus 5 within the brackets. So that means the origin of the circle is actually been moved over 5 units, so it's kind of over here. But we're talking about the origin being at the middle. So in that case, your h value would be 0 and your k value would be 0. So we end up writing it the way it's written up there, because x plus minus 0 is nothing, y minus 0 is nothing. So that's just kind of showing you what the parent function looks like. So let's take that info. I'm shrinking a little too much. Okay, so with that being said, we're back to our x squared plus y squared, so that part hasn't changed. And they said the radius is 8, so we're going to plug 8 in for r, but don't forget it is r squared technically. So we take 8 squared and you end up with 64 is equal to x squared plus y squared. What does that mean? Well, that means on our Cartesian plane the middle is here, and these values of 8, 8, -8, -8, let's say those are them. I'm not going to do a great job of this. I'm going to do my best. There you go. That's essentially what your circle looks like. What does that actually look like on a proper program? Let's draw it out. So we have 64 is equal to, where's my equal sign? There it is. X squared plus y squared. Okay, and we'll zoom in a little. And if you notice, we have some points here. Push it. There you go. It's got a high point of 8, like I said, a low point of -8. To the right maximum is 8, and to the left maximum is, or minimum is, -8. Just like we drew on the other page there. Okay, so here's our circle, and its origin is at the middle in this case. Now, there's other ways they can describe this to you. Maybe they give you a point on the circle and ask you to find the equation. That's a pretty common, way to do one of these. So let's say we'll start with our equation of a circle. Again, we have r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. Let's say they tell you that this point of, let's say 3, 5 is on the circle. Okay, so here's a point along the circle. And we also have the center is at 0 and 0. Okay, so we know we're working with this formula again. We don't have to worry about shifting it left, right, up, and down. But what we don't know is the radius. The radius is kind of unknown to this in this case. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to plug these values in. This 3 is going to go in for the value of x. Okay, and this 5 is going to go in for the value of y. And we're going to isolate for r in this case. So we have r squared is equal to 3 squared plus 5 squared. Okay, so r squared is equal to 9 plus 25 equal to 36. R squared. Now, to get the r by itself, we technically find the square root of both sides. Now, what actually happens here, they say that these things cancel out. They technically make the variable or the power of 1, which does nothing. Anyways, r is by itself. Square root of 36 actually has 2 answers. Square root of 36 has plus or minus 6. So the radius is either positive 6 or negative 6. Now, negative 6 doesn't make sense to us as humans. We think of space, like when you take up space, as being a positive value. What you can think of it is, if it helps you a little, our origin here. If we have our center at the origin, if we go to the right, positive 6, and you're also going to the left, negative 6. It's one way to think of it. Most of the time, we would really just describe it as it's a radius of 6. Okay, so that's how you can take a point. Sorry, actually, I only found the radius. I still have to find the equation of a circle. So what would the equation of a circle be if it has this point here? Well, we have to plug 6 into r. So we have 6 squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, which gives you 36 is equal to x squared plus y squared. And let's go check our program one more time. If we have something that says 36 is equal to x squared.
Equal plus.
Oh, thank you. Is equal to x squared plus y squared. There you go. Same idea as before. Here's all of our points along the circle. Okay, I'm going to